3, 2, 1, and we're live. We're live. We're live. Look at that. Look at that, boys. We're live. Oh my god. How good it is to be live. And we're live. Just beautiful, boys. We're here. We're live. Oh my lord. Here we go. We're there. That's where we need to be. Doing a Normie stream for Western Mass. We'll see if he even joins us. But hey, it's Monday, Sunday for the Americans, Monday evening for the Aussies. Back on a regular angled stream. Gonna go through Twitter. Gonna go look at the MMA UFC news for the day. Some very interesting news. Very interesting news that we will get to as well. The Conor McGregor news. Conor McGregor doing his interviews for Roadhouse, and during those interviews for Roadhouse, he is talking about how he has 2 fights left on his contract. That has all been speculation up until now, but according to Conor McGregor, it is actually fact. There are 2 fights left on his contract. So that is something that we're going to be looking at as well, because it's not something that we expected. It's something that we speculated over. And it does seem like the UFC is indeed icing Conor McGregor to get him to sign an extension on his contract. All of that was just thought about. But anyway, there's that. There is Colby Covington ducking Ian Garry. I know it sounds like Colby Covington is calling out Ian Garry, but when he's laying down these like ridiculous stipulations, it is Colby Covington ducking Ian Garry, because Layla is not going to be getting down on her knees to beg Colby Covington for a fight, okay? Ian Garry isn't going to be turning on all of his Twitter comments and bringing everything back online again. Ian Garry is going to do things his way. And then when they do say, Colby, how come you didn't fight Ian Garry? Colby's going to be able to say, I wanted to fight him. I tried to fight him, but the kid was ducking me, which is just not true at all. So we're going to go through some of that. And yeah, let's get bloody into it, huh? Let's get into it right here. Ian Garry goes, I challenge you to an I quit match. One where one of us has to say I quit. Whoever says the words I quit has to retire. Gloves off, center of the octagon. There's no way that's happening. There's no way any of that is happening. Colby Covington is not going to be getting into the octagon with Ian Garry. He does not want that smoke. Colby Covington is going to try and weasel his way into a Wonderboy fight and pretty much say Wonderboy was the only one that wanted to fight me. I can already hear Colby Covington's excuses going off in the side of my head, you know, where he's like, I wanted to fight him. I tried to fight him, but he wouldn't go by the stipulations. He just ducked me. That's essentially what Colby's going to do. But we'll see. Let's have a look at some of the replies. See if I'm right about this. What way is the wind going? Ian and Colby. I suppose we're both disappointments. It's true. It's absolutely true. They are both fucking disappointments in the MMA world. How does he make it sound so corny? Why does she make him say stuff like this? Again, going back to the old line of it's Ian Garry's wife that writes all of his material for him. That would actually make that fight worth watching. Honestly, Colby's next fight in the UFC, his next loss is going to be his last fight in the UFC. He hasn't got too many more losses like stored up in the bank. We the people demand this fight. At least one of them has to go. God, that is so true. That is so true. But I don't think it's going to be Ian Garry. I think Ian Garry is the new sort of Jake Paul of MMA. He's the one that we're here to hate. Oh, shall we listen to it? Shall we listen to Ian Garry's voice? Let's listen to it.
You gave me 3 stipulations, all of which had nothing to do about fighting, but we're all talking about my wife.
Layla, get on your hands and knees and beg.
I don't know how you were raised, but women aren't property and my wife definitely ain't no trophy. You should be focusing on me. I'm the one who's in that octagon with you. I'm the one who's going to punch a hole in your head. So stop swerving me and keep Layla's name out your mouth.
How many of you guys have...
Good for Ian Gary. I think Colby Covington is the perfect, what's the right way to put it? Gatekeeper fight for Ian Gary. You know what I mean? Like, Colby is the perfect one right there. That is just a level ahead of him, an easy win. He's that sort of Beneil Dariush name. He's right there for him. So good for Ian Gary for chasing that, because we know Ian Gary doesn't want MVP. Ian Gary doesn't want Shavkat Rakhmonov. That was fucking hilarious. I hadn't seen that before. Can't you, Aussie? Your timing sucks. Western Mass. I literally named this stream after you, brother. What are you talking about, mate? Let me guess. You going to bed? You had a big day at work?
And whoever says
Dude,
the words like
I had not
I can
seen
think
his
of
little
one
end
reason.
of this. Colby is so annoying. You're absolutely right.
I challenge you to an I quit match where one of us has to say, I quit.
I hadn't seen his little edit.
And whoever says the words I quit has to...
Oh, Jesus. Move on, Ian Gary. Move on. Gary beats him. Colby is done, in my opinion. Absolutely right, man. Absolutely right. Only if they both quit. How? Oh, Jesus. I think, like, they could go for, you know, if there's a BMF belt, there should be, like, a most hated fighter belt. And Colby and Ian Gary could fight for it. And whoever loses that fight has to walk away with the most hated fighter belt. Jamie, I remember probably one of our most iconic UFC moments watching the fights together was when Colby got his fucking jaw broken by Usman. Oh, shit. Ian Gary might be the most unbearable athlete ever. Maybe. All right, let's move on from this Ian Gary hate train. Let's keep it moving, huh? Let's keep it moving. Oh, look, he's right here, still going. He must be at the top of the news. What is this? Spinning back fist. Would you stay here for a month for 100K with no Wi-Fi, no companion, no electric gadgets, and food provided? For a month for 100K? Yeah, absolutely I would. Absolutely I would stay at the UFC Apex for 1 month. I mean, don't they get all their like food and trainers and everything provided for? Yeah, absolutely. And for 100K, a 1 month's work for 100K, done. I'll stay at the Apex for a year, mate. Maybe not a year. 6 months. That is me Bostonian girlfriend in chat. That's why it says Doug and Jamie by her name, mate. Give me one overrated fighter, I'll start. And they're fucking... Yeah, right, no Wi-Fi, you'd cry. They didn't say... I mean, I guess they did say no gadgets. I could take a book. I'd take a book. I'll be right with a book. For 100K for 1 month. I'll survive. I mean, I can watch all the shit. Apex cards will be in the front row. Give me one overrated fighter, and they've gone and started with fucking Jack Della Maddalena, man. Ian Gary, super overrated. Super overrated. Can't finish Neil Magny. Yeah, I could tell you were logged into the wrong account. I could tell. I was like, oh, whatever. It is what it is. Man, they reckon Merab Dvalishvili is one of the most overrated fighters. This is not true. Merab is highly... Merab is exactly where he should be rated. Exactly where he should be rated. Johnny Walker as an overrated fighter. I don't know if Johnny Walker is overrated. Like, I don't think anyone believes that Johnny Walker is going to be fighting for a title or winning a title anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like, Johnny Walker seems to be perfectly placed in the rankings as just yet another gatekeeper. Hi, Mrs. Dougie. There she is. She's keeping an eye on the chat for us, lads. Tony, F1, what's up, brother? How you going? When he came into the UFC, the fact that he was fighting Magomed shows that he was overrated. I mean, when he came into the UFC and he was on that sick streak, definitely, until he blew his own shoulder out, maybe. Mrs. Dougie, hello, chat. Yeah, I think, but you know, it's the sort of problem that Chimaev has as well. You know, like when he first came into the UFC, he was so highly rated because he put together that sick win streak. I think whenever anyone comes in and they're looking fresh, they get that wild overrated style. But maybe there were people that saw how creative Johnny Walker's striking was, and they sort of put him up there next to John Jones. Like the creative striking ability, you know what I mean? Like light heavyweight, lanky, long, reachy, rangy. They could have been like, oh shit, we've got a new, young, up-and-coming John Jones coming up. Mason, what's up, brother? How you going? Good evening. Good evening to all the Americans out there. I know it's a bit of an insomnia stream for you guys, but hey, here we are. Magomed fucked Walker up. Yes, he did. Fucking oath. Yes, he did. And I feel like Walker knew he was fucked going into that. The cunt has alts. Which one do I ban? Don't ban any of them, mate. The more people in here chatting, the better. Magomed, what a scary guy. What fucking cave did he come from? The same cave they all do, mate. The same cave they all do. That same cliff-dwelling cave they all come from. Oof, yeah. Overrated fighter, Cyril Gane. They were touting Cyril Gane as being the fucking, I don't know, what's the right way to put him? The next coming of heavyweight. When is Jack Jenkins coming back? That's a damn good question, man. That's a damn good question. I mean, I don't know. He's not a local. He's not my neighbor. But, I mean, when did he pop his arm out? What was that? Maybe 6 months ago? You know? Maybe it was 6 months ago. Like, he should be coming back sometime soon. Bisping asked Makamev on BYM if they all really live in caves. No, he fucking didn't. Fucking hell. This is why I love Michael Bisping. I'm so scared that as I get older and become like more and more moronic, I'm going to become like Michael Bisping and just start saying like just dumb shit like that and not get the fucking joke. Bisping is like Joe Rogan. Like he never knows when someone is being... He just takes everything fucking literally. Oh, shit, man. Gane is good, but Jones destroyed him immediately. Gane is a great heavyweight kickboxer and striker. You know, like, it's heavyweight. It's easy to look good. But let's not forget, like, Gane did his entire career as a kickboxer and Muay Thai artist. And Francis Ngannou was able to stand with him in those first 3 rounds, man. Francis was able to stand with him. He's from Melbourne. Yeah, but Melbourne's a big city, brother. You know, it's not like he's just down the road in Melbourne. I know. I remember that run in Eternal. I definitely remember that run in Eternal. Jack Jenkins has broken 5 legs in 7 fights. He broke his arm in September. If he broke his arm in September, and I don't know if it was a break or if it was a dislocation, but it could have been a dislocation. I would expect him to come back in July, which should be when a lot of the Aussies are fighting, because we fought in July last year. We pretty much were International Fight Week. Or they could hold him off until they end up going to Perth, but I think that would be a bit late for him. Like, the Aussies like to stay pretty active, so I feel like Jack Jenkins coming back in Perth would be a bit late, man. Bisping has taken... He was so serious. Bisping has taken way too much damage. So true, man. His face has been ruined from so many fights. John Jones is the greatest of all time. It depends on whether or not you use drugs as part of your argument. Like John Jones has popped quite a bit. Tony, I know we've gone back and forth. Tony F1, we've gone back and forth on this quite a lot. It's either GSP or Mighty Mouse. Yeah, like if you're saying it's okay to do steroids, take John Jones. Take John Jones. They're all on steroids. Yeah, but they don't all get proven to be on steroids. You know? Or is he? No, is he? I don't know. I don't think Izzy was that dominant, man. I don't think Izzy was that dominant. Might be a hot take, but I don't know. Jones's opponents were on steroids. So you mean like it's okay that Jones was on steroids because the guys he was facing were on steroids? So it's like a fair comparison. Like he's fighting other roid addicts. What about DC though? I don't think DC was on steroids. I think DC was just on chicken wings. Izzy is a GOAT for sure. Izzy is not the GOAT for sure, Tony. All right. I'm pretty sure you're fucking trolling me. Yeah, Izzy isn't even the best fucking middleweight ever. Izzy grew a boob in the most remote island in the world during COVID and came with savage knockout power for that fight. DC is well underrated. It's so fucking crazy to think, right? Like if John Jones had never been born, DC Chicken Wings DC would go down as one of the GOATs of the sport. Is that not fucking crazy to think about? Ah, fuck it. Anderson Silva won 16 in a row in against the best guys in the world at the time. So true. Chael Sonnen was like 30 seconds away from finishing him, though. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Jones only lost to Reyes. Jones is better than Khabib. Jones and Khabib are the only guys to never get finished after such a long career. Jones... Yeah, Jones's last 3 fights really don't impress me too much. And again, like it does come down to the steroid argument. Like if you're comfortable with Jones being on steroids, totally fine. And like you said, he fought people who were on steroids except for DC. But Jones's last 3 fights at light heavyweight was a bit fucking not spectacular. You know, there was Reyes, there was Santos on one knee. There was Anthony Smith. That win has aged terribly. Jones was finished. Jones's elbow was finished by Matt Hamill's forehead. Chael was good. He had a great fight with Nate Marquette. And Nate at the time was one of the best in the world. Matt Hamill violently headbutted John Jones's elbow and caused irreparable Jack Jenkins-like damage to it. That's right. So you are... Mason, you are unadulterated autism, mate. You are just a pure autism spigot. I mean, on paper, Smith does beat them all. Man, I want to find Daniel Cormier dancing with chicken wings. Yes. Oh, shit. It's so good. Not now. Go away. Daniel Cormier chicken wings. It's so good. Like, what is this? Oh, shit. Chael destroyed Jones's toe. I mean, he's going to carry John Jones. John Jones is going to carry a piece of Chael Sonnen with him for the rest of his life, man. For the rest of his life. That toe is fucking mangled. And he nearly... It's so crazy, like, how MMA is such a game of inches, right? Like, John Jones, think about this, right? John Jones could have not won the UFC heavyweight title because the doctors weren't going to let him into the cage with his feet taped up the way they were because of Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen could have stopped John Jones winning a heavyweight title. How fucking crazy is that, man? How crazy is that?
I was a really chubby kid.
What the shit is this? John Jones isn't that good, but Smith, he beat your ass. What does that make you? I know Anthony Smith, right, in his latest interview where he's like, how about you fight 30 fucking fights? Like, Smith doesn't understand what a gatekeeper is. It's like, if you say you want to take me on, there's going to be consequences. Like, yeah, Smith, that's the sport, brother. Like, do you not understand the fucking sport that you are in, mate? Oh, shit. Daniel Cormier was very short for his weight. Yeah, man. Yeah. But the eye pokes on Daniel Cormier. He could enter range by clawing eyes out so well. Mod misses Dougie, so I don't ban the wrong one. You shouldn't be banning any of them, mate. All right? You definitely shouldn't be banning any of them. Okay? We don't ban the misso in chat. Daniel was good. He landed some good shots on Jones. Jones go broken mentally by Chael. Tony Ferguson versus Clay Guida soon. I'd love to make that fight. Dan Hooker versus Gamrot. I'd hate to make that fight. I want Gamrot versus Michael Chandler. Smith. Smith was so promising, much like Johnny Walker. Smith, I used to love watching Anthony Smith fight. I used to love it. And then there was the John Jones thing, and it's so weird. Like, after somebody fight... I'll give Jones credit for this. Let me give Jones some flowers here, right? Let me give Jones some flowers for here. Once John Jones fights someone, they are fucking done. Every time. Every time. Like, it went Anthony Smith, contender, potential title challenger, obviously could have won the title. And then he goes from that to fighting John Jones to Glover Teixeira literally punching the fucking teeth out of his skull. Crazy, right? Crazy. Do you know how hard it is to get a good eye poke in? I know. That's why I'm giving DC his flowers for being able to tear people's eyes out. I mean, Stipe still hasn't recovered. He needs glasses permanently now from that. You mean Scumrot? I fucking hate Gamrot. I fucking hate him. Lightweight is meant to be for savages. The most fun fights in the UFC are meant to be a lightweight. And Gamrot is a fucking wet blanket in the world's best division. Fuck Gamrot. Michael Chandler versus Gamrot. And Conor McGregor versus Rehab. Smith choked Gustafsson. True. Facts. I need to know who's who. Alts will come. I will mod both accounts, me and Jamie's account and Jamie's account, okay? So that way no one plays any funny business, all right? Just for you, Western Mass. Fucking hell. You bully me so much in the stream, Western Mass. First, I named the entire stream after you, and now you're forcing me to mod my own house. Unbelievable, these fucking Bostonians. Oh, shit. Jones ruins careers with those knee stomps. Kangaroos would be good at MMA. They fight dirty, kicks to the groin, and eye pokes. That's why being an Australian is the best base for MMA, mate. Are there a lot of eucalyptus trees in Melbourne? There's a lot of eucalyptus trees in the forests surrounding Melbourne. So, yeah, quite a lot. And that's why our state burns, goes on fire. All right, let's do enough of this underrated list. Ever forget when somebody threw a fucking shoe at George Bush? Okay. Here we go. Nate Diaz, what's the word? This was me years ago before Conor even got here. They want you to die before you get out of these contracts. It's up to you to make something pop. No one's going to help you. Free Conor McGregor. It's Paddy's Day in this bitch. This is really, really fucking interesting, guys. This is really fucking interesting. Conor McGregor has come out and said in one of his Roadhouse interviews that he has 2 fights left on his contract. And it's it's the UFC wanting to sign Conor McGregor to another 7-fight deal that's holding everything up. Like, all this, we have to wait for Conor to be in the testing pool and Conor's injury to heal and Conor's got a movie to release. That's all just bullshit from the UFC's end. Conor wants to wrap up these 2 fights in the UFC and then bounce and fight Pacquiao for some sick Saudi boxing money. Or have the Saudis pay Conor McGregor to put on a private event with Nate Diaz and an MMA card. Really fucking interesting. It's so funny how at the end of the day, Nate's the one that's going to be cashing checks and Conor's the one locked into his contract. A lot of eucalyptus trees. Melbourne, rugby is the best base for MMA. One of the best. Volk has played rugby. Yeah. A lot of the Aussies did. I think Jack Jenkins did as well. GSP would never oblique kick. So true, man. He was a fucking gentleman in the cage. Except for when he did that savage ground and pound and choked the fuck out of Bisping. Serge, this is crazy. It's one of the most well-known and powerful fighters the UFC has ever had. They are straight wasting his last years because they are fearful he might not re-sign at their discounted rate after their next fights. Why don't more MMA reporters speak up? Because the MMA reporters that report on this will not get invited into the press rooms. The UFC has got a real control on the MMA media right now, and that is why they are all just playing quiet. You actually named the stream after me incorrectly as well. Oh, well, it is what it is, mate. The Normie streams are the vertical streams. This is a Normie stream, mate. This is how the Normie stream goes down. Bisping's ego is bigger than the Indian Ocean. Mate, Bisping cannot do commentary without it being about him. He literally, every single thing that happens has to be about him. When I landed the calf kicks. It's all right, Western Mass. It's all good, brother. I said we'll do some streams like this. We're doing streams like this. It's all good, man. It's all just a bit of fun. You're a fucking goat in the stream world, mate. I wouldn't go against you, brother. This is typical UFC behavior. This is why Francis left. Epic tweet right here from Nate Diaz. You know what else I was thinking about when it comes to this Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor's re-signing? Conor McGregor Diaz 3 is like one of the biggest fights that can be made in MMA at any point, really. Really, at any point. When you look at Tony F1. Be the Australian Lucas Tracy to get subs. Do his videos verbatim and then just say cunt a lot in the... What am I meant to be like? Guys, Benoit Saint Denis is just a fucking crafty cunt of a fighter. He's just going to put that crafty cunt on him. He's a crafty cunt, guys. All right? And don't say it's crazy that Benoit can win it. Okay? He's a crafty cunt. I'll just do him like that, Tony. We'll be right, mate. We'll get the subs when the subs come. It's all good. We're hanging out. We're watching. We're growing Dougie's Corner at the pace it's meant to be growing at. You know? It's not the best channel in the world. It's not the worst channel in the world. It's growing nicely. Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, 3. When we look at the boxing world, right, and see, like, for instance, Mike Tyson can still get a fight like that. Conor Diaz 3 is going to be one of those fights that's always going to be there. All the normies that watch vertical streams, all the casuals are all going to jump on that fight and talk about it and watch it. The UFC do not want to lose control of that fight. If they lose Conor, then Netflix can pretty much just pay a private deal for Conor Diaz 3 MMA, bare knuckle MMA, whatever they want. Exactly like they're doing with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. They can privatize it, and that's a huge amount of profit that's going to be lost from the UFC. So Nate jumping on this shit is real fucking bad. for the whole media, for like the whole landscape of MMA, because they do not want that fight happening outside of the UFC's control. And I believe that Nate Diaz is getting blacklisted and blackballed by the UFC. You sound just like him. Thanks, man. Thanks. So I do a good Lucas Tracy impression. Thanks, dude. Like shit. I'm gonna try and see if I can find it. And there's a reason. Oh, what the hell? That ain't right. There we go. I'm gonna try and see if I can find it. There is evidence to show that the UFC is blacklisting Nate Diaz, right? And let's see if we can find it somewhere in my bookmarks. Can we? Can we? No. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'm going to try and find it. One second, guys. No, can't find it. Shit. Okay, so if I find it, I'll bring it up on another live stream. But essentially, Nate Diaz was at UFC 299. He was there. He was in the crowd. And they panned to everybody and their fucking mother. They panned to anyone who is anyone and is a celebrity that is at a UFC event. They will pan to them. And they completely fucking ignored Nate Diaz. Didn't mention him at all on the broadcast. Didn't show him in the crowd. Nothing. Just completely blackballed him. And you know, Nate was screaming and begging to be on UFC 300. They didn't even mention that. One fighter asked Dana White at the post-fight press conference, Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor at the Sphere, and Dana White literally laughed about it. Like, he thought it was funny. He thought it was a joke. So I think what's happened is Nate Diaz has gone ahead, walked away from the UFC, tried to be a free agent, is a free agent, and the UFC are trying to do everything they can in the larger MMA media to keep that down, to keep that narrative and that idea down, because they do not want their stars like Sean Strickland, Sean O'Malley, let's say Israel Adesanya. They do not want their stars to get this idea that they can just wrap up their contracts like Nate and Francis did and go and do big Saudi money boxing. It scares the living piss out of them. So, moving on. Wow. What a surprise. Who didn't see that coming? When you say no, it sounds like nor. No. 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 All right, moving on. Come on, where's the MMA stuff, mate? The final 301 fight card, Aldo versus Martinez, completely out of nowhere. That's how much they cooked That's how much they cooked April and May for UFC 300. But hey, at least that's a decent pay-per-view now, right? That's a decent pay-per-view. Right, we got Pereira on there. We got Paul Craig versus Baralho. Baralho, I like that fight. Like, Baralho is there to entertain. I find him as a very, very entertaining fighter. I think he'll be able to handle Paul Craig. Smith versus Pantera. Obviously, you'd be putting all your money on Pantera. This is just off the top of my head. Pereira versus Muradov is interesting. That one's real interesting. I'm going to have to go back and watch a little bit more of Muradov to think about that one. Taito Ivasa was eating Taco Bell before the fight. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I don't know what Taito Ivasa has got going through his fucking head anymore. You know? I don't know why he was throwing elbows from the other side of the cage. Not even close to being in range. Aldo versus Martinez. I'd be going with Aldo. And then the Aussie, Urseg versus Pantoja. I feel like Urseg can do a sneaky knockout. I think if it gets messy and the fight goes to the ground, whenever the fight's on the ground, I'll be expecting Pantoja to win it. But while it remains on the feet, I think Urseg's hands and speed can do it. That's where we're at. Maybe the worst card in history. No, we just had the worst card in history, mate. Just fucking chill out. Jose Aldo's on it. Everyone's acting like it's a bad card. UFC 290. This is what I mean. Like, when it comes to Australia, the cards in Australia are dog shit. Like, the Brazil card is not bad at all. Although Manel Cap did make history at that night. Absolutely make history. It's been a while since I haven't bought the monthly pay-per-view. This will be the next one. I'm sure the Brazilian fans might find it more enticing. Who buys pay-per-views? Who actually buys the pay-per-views in here? Let me know. Mason, do you buy the pay-per-views? Tony, you buy the pay-per-views? Weston, do you buy the pay-per-views? Let me know who's actually buying the pay-per-views. I have not paid for a pay-per-view in fucking years. Man, this pay-per-view was getting torn apart. They wanted to make UFC 300 so memorable. They punished us with this. Man. I mean, 301 was never going to be good. Never going to be good. Tony, you're not buying them? Fair, mate. Fair. This cannot be true. This cannot be true. This cannot be true. I buy pay-per-views, you criminal Aussie. Mate, we're an island full of fucking degenerates and convicts. I'm surprised they even bother trying to sell us the pay-per-views here. Cunt. I'm fucking surprised they even sell them to us, mate. Mike Tyson once offered a zookeeper $10,000 to open the gate so he could go in the pen and fight a gorilla who was bullying other primates. Tyson's offer was turned down. This cannot be true. When you're Jake Paul and you finally realize this is the person that you want to get into the ring with. I don't buy them, but I also don't bitch about fighter pay. Tony, that's like proper. That's spot on, man. Like, if you're not going to be contributing towards the company, yeah, nothing to bitch about. Nothing to bitch about. Although, like, you know, as we were talking about in today's video that I put out after UFC Vegas 88, some of the fighters shouldn't be bitching about fighter pay either. Not that I would want Mike Tyson or anyone to die in this way, but does anyone else think it would be weirdly appropriate if this is how it ended? What the fuck? Imagine the news reports Mike Tyson, former heavyweight champion, has died at the zoo fighting a gorilla. Fucking hell. Mike Tyson can't even beat an MMA fighter, much less a gorilla. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Tyson paid a zookeeper. Oh, fucking hell. All right, let's move on. Australia, a nation of criminals. That's right, mate. That's why they had to lock us up. Who wins and how? Overeem in his prime versus Cyril Gane in what was his prime. I'm assuming if Overeem's going to be in his prime, it has to be Swolvereem. It's got to be roided up Overeem, right? Has to be. And if it's roided up Overeem, he fucking ends Cyril Gane. Ends him. %65% Overeem wins. I feel like that's the right call to make, yeah? This fight would have been sick, but it would be hard to overlook. It's hard to overlook the fact that Overeem was a really good grappler. Yeah, exactly. Reem by any submission that he wants. Reem fucks him up. The fact that this is even being asked is a disgrace. Prime horse meat over him makes Garn look like CM Punk in there. Overeem has ground and pound even in his late career. Absolutely right, man. Absolutely right. Savage ground and pound. I mean, Cyril Gane, we really need to, like, if Cyril Gane has not been wrestling every day, brother, wrestling zero, grappling zero, if he's not been wrestling every day since John Jones, he is not taking his career seriously because he needs to do a little bit of his stand-up training, a couple of hours a week. But that, by now, at this age, at this stage of his career, a lot of that should just be muscle memory and having the mind for it. His wrestling is so far gone that, you know, Aspinall cleans him up in the wrestling. Curtis Blades cleans him up in the wrestling. Like, these fights for Cyril Gane, if he wants to be the heavyweight champion of the UFC, seriously needs to fucking fix that. Ubereem, one of the greatest of all time. You sort of screwed us all out of seeing some great moments. Facts. These are just the facts. Boxing. Don't care. Has anybody lost more of their fan base? Aspinall kills John Jones, in my opinion. I agree, man. I agree. I think John Jones, when you look at his level of stand-up in his last 3 fights, again, we'll go over it one more time. Reyes, Santos, fucking Anthony Smith. When you look at that level of stand-up striking and how good that Tom Aspinall is at the stand-up game, Jones gets hit, and getting hit at a full-powered, young, healthy Tom Aspinall, full clip, on John Jones's old alcoholic chin, not going to end well. Not going to end well. Has anybody lost their fan base more than Thug Rose, right? Genuinely don't see any Thug Rose fans in here anymore. I would say Colby Covington. I would say Colby Covington's fan base has absolutely fucking bombed out at the bottom. Nobody is watching Colby Covington anymore. So if I was going to put up any name other than Rose Namajunas, it would probably be Colby. Let's see what the normies reckon. It's not even Hug Rose anymore. Or Masvidal. I feel like Masvidal's fan base has gone down the drain as well.
I know what kind of man you are.
The Espinosa fight really sent everybody packing. Divorce Pat Barry and her fan base would come back. She can't divorce her own father. That's fucked up, man. I'm still a fan, but she kind of fell out of her prime. Hopefully she can come back stronger. I still love Thug Rose, always will. She's just a humble, sweet human being who is also one hell of a fighter. John Jones is also slow at heavyweight. Yeah, well slow. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I mean, I imagine I agree that he should be slower at heavyweight. Probably will be slower at heavyweight. The only reason that my mind is having that like little izzy moment is because we've seen him at heavyweight for all of 2 minutes, 30 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, we've barely seen him at heavyweight. And everyone looks like a fucking champion when they're alone in the training room at the gym with their gym partners that are carrying them. So I think we need to see more of John Jones at heavyweight. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it, man. That's where I'm at with it. Masvidal is my choice. Went from legit one of the most popular fighters to now the only time I hear him mentioned is when the fans are absolutely clowning him. What really got me off the Masvidal bandwagon, not just like his fall from grace. Look out for my body, Even to go in chats. He's the biggest Covington fan. Still, I mean, why? Why doesn't he just be a fan of Sean Strickland? Like, that's what Sean Strickland's here for. What really got me with Masvidal is he talks all that, like, violence, gangster, Scarface, bullshit. And then he sneaks up behind Colby Covington with a COVID mask on and fucking king hits him in the back of the head. Like, to me, that is the most soy, weak, beta male, you know the rest of them words, shit that you can do. Like, if you have a fucking problem with someone, tell them to their face that you have a fucking problem with them. And if you want to sort it out in the street, call them out and sort it out. Don't hide behind a fucking parked car with a hoodie and a mask on and run up and king hit them. That's so fucking weak, man. Masvidal, I lost so much respect for Masvidal when that happened. Tony, in his training videos, he looks really slow, even before the injury. Yeah. I get, and that's why I'm like, he should be slow, but like, we haven't seen it at heavyweight. But I do think, like, I'm just chatting with you. Like, I agree with you. I do think he's going to be a slow heavyweight. Tai Tuivasa is so fat. Mason, yes, he is, man. He is. Colby broke his foot. Strickland talked like he was going to fight like Paulo Costa. Covington dominated Masvidal. He did. There's a lot going on here. Colby broke his foot. Are you talking about in that Leon Edwards fight, Colby's excuse? Are you backing his excuse on that? Because I'm not sure if he did, man. But I guess he put up x-rays, didn't he? But, I mean, even with a broken foot, like, JDM just fought Gilbert Burns with a broken forearm. Like, do you have a penis or not? Are we fucking here to win a world championship or not? You know, you got a broken foot or you don't. Like, let's do or die, Colby Covington. Do or die. Colby Covington dominated Masvidal. He did dominate Masvidal in a bit of a snoozy fight. You live in Miami. You do, brother. And you remember when that story broke, when Masvidal attacked him? And how was the vibe from the Miami fans? Because that's obviously like Masvidal's hometown, Masvidal's most staunch, and like that's the people that love him in Miami. So how did they feel when not only did he get bitched in the cage, but then he acted like a complete fucking sissy in the streets? Let me know, Mason. I'm interested to know, man. Pat Barry grooming bothers folks. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm a fan, but her career went so funky. It's not just the fact that she is one half of the most boring fight in history with Rose. It's also the fact that she's super inactive these days, and it's hard to be a fan of inactive fighters, I find, personally. But she's getting about a 50-50 fan response. A 50-50 fan response. So we will see how the numbers go for the UFC Apex this weekend. I will not be watching it live. I am going camping. Fuck that shit. You definitely lost some fans with that. Masvidal was so popular in Miami in 2019. Yeah, I don't doubt that he was huge, man. He could have been a big deal. Massive deal. Like that flying knee, the knockout runs that he went on, he could have been huge, but then it all just sort of faded. And I found his interviews to be incredibly repetitive and boring. He would just say violence over and over again. Like Khamzat Chimaev, you ask him any question and his answer is smash. Like, Khamzat, what are you going to do this weekend? Smash, brother, smash. Khamzat, how are you going to win this fight? Smash, brother, smash. Khamzat, how's your relationship with your mother? I smash, brother, I smash her, brother. Like, that's like the only word he seems to know, which isn't true because he knows way more than that. But that one sentence went viral, and that's all he does now. You know? Khamzat, what are you going to do when you're reunited with your family? I smash my family, brother. I smash them. I think people realized he wasn't that good anymore. I think I don't know what happened, man. It was like lightning in a bottle. You know, like that knockout run that he went on. was fucking beautiful. And then he just sort of got to the end of that. It's almost like he had that little... Do you remember when Cowboy Cerrone came back as Dad Cowboy Cerrone, or Cow Dad, what we were calling him? Remember that? Like, these fighters that have been in the UFC forever and a day sort of get this, like, second win where it's like, holy shit, we're on here. Jim Miller's going through it right now. They get that sort of second wind. And yeah, I think Masvidal just had one of those moments and lost it. Got some clients emailing me, messaging me, but that's all good. I'll get back to them after this stream. We're going to go for a little bit longer. Middleweight matchup coming to Atlantic City. Chris Weidman, please, brother, please let this be your last fight. Chris, please. Let it be over after this one. You have nothing left to prove, Christopher. Home of the fight. Is this fight being cooked up behind closed doors? We are talking about Cody Garbrandt versus Sean O'Malley. Cody Garbrandt had 2 million followers on Instagram when the UFC fighters didn't typically amass millions of followers. He was expected to be a star. That's true. Maybe like Conor, Khabib. I don't see them being able to baby Cody Garbrandt all the way back up to Sean O'Malley. What the fuck is Dominic Cruz doing? I see Cody Garbrandt's face, and I'm just like, what the fuck is Dominic Cruz doing? You got some more ceilings to fuck up. That ceiling came out beautiful, mate. It came out magnificent. Beautiful. I don't see this fight happening. I don't see how we could baby Cody Garbrandt all the way up to a title shot with Sean O'Malley. You know, we've got to get Sean O'Malley through Merab, Sandhagen. By then, there's probably going to be a Sean O'Malley, Ilya Topuria fight. Cody Garbrandt, I mean, his last win was against that absolute fucking can. And then the last win before that, he was like styling on the bloke, dancing around on the bloke. I don't remember his name, but Cody was like shadow boxing at the middle of him, at his midsection, landing like half of his shots, and then acting like he was God's gift again. There's a long way to go before we get Cody up to Sean O'Malley. Figueiredo is going to snatch Cody's chins from him. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, Figueiredo is going to fucking hurt Cody Garbrandt. Hurt him. Fuck, I'm excited for that fight. I'm going to stop you right there. Cody has no chin. Absolutely. He's not going to get past Figueiredo. You're half asleep, but I'm going to leave this stream running, you cunt. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. You leave it running. I'm going to go for like another 27 minutes, and then we're going to bounce out of here. But you have a good night, man. You have a good night. I will see you in the next one. The next one is going to be a vertical stream because, as you can see, the vertical streams, they pick up a little bit more interaction than these regular everyday streams. But I did this one. I promised you, Weston, that I would do this one for you, and this one's for you, mate. Have a good night's sleep. Big Cody fan, but he needs to get through Figueiredo, which is no easy task, and probably a top 5 contender to get a title shot next. Yeah, I don't see Cody getting through Figueiredo. I don't see that at all. In fact, what are the odds? What are the odds? What are the odds? Cody Garbrandt, $3.60. You guys can't see that. But it is what it is. Can we zoom out? There it is. Cody Garbrandt, $3.60. Massive underdog. Magal Productions. What's up, brother? Masvidal has had so much hype. So true, man. So true. So true. That question came up because we were just looking at who has had the biggest hype train fall off, like whose fan base has left them the most. We were just talking about Rose Namajunas this weekend. Like, there was a time where she was women's UFC, you know, Thug Rose. And ever since that boring ass fight, her fandom has just plummeted. And I was saying Colby Covington has lost a huge amount of fans. Masvidal's lost a huge amount of fans. So yeah, brother, that's where we were at. Let me know your thoughts on that. I don't think Figgy does well at bantamweight. He might chin Colby, but he was slow in the font fight, surprisingly. Slow but more powerful, no? Like, Font is a fucking phenomenal boxer, and Figgy did really, really well in the boxing, I feel like. Rose got slammed out on her neck by Andrade. That's fucking true, dude. She did. Is that why you lost a bunch of fandom in her, not just the boring-ass fight? But she's very lucky to be back in the cage and, you know, still fighting. She's very, very, very fucking lucky to be back in the cage and still fighting. You know? All right, what's up? What's up next? Elon Musk driving his Cybertruck. I'm going to leave you guys with this Cybertruck driving through the desert. I don't know what's going on, but I got to take a piss. We're going to go for another 25 minutes. I'm going to jump to the bathroom, take a real quick piss, and then we're going to press on with the stream, okay? This is going to be quick. Hold on, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry to leave you like that, guys. I was busting. Let's get back into it. Holy shit. Islam Makhachev versus Khamzat Chimaev. Who wins this matchup at 170? At 170? My mic is on? Yes, it is. Good. Okay. Oh, no. You guys bounced out. Oh, well. I appreciate you guys being here anyway. At 170, Islam Makhachev. Not going to lie. I'm going to say Islam Makhachev wins that fight at 170. I don't think Khamzat has got a gas tank anymore. Like, is this a 3-round fight, a 5-round fight? I think Khamzat, it all comes down to that first round. And I do believe that Islam is good enough. Like, these Dagestani wrestlers, they just refuse to be taken down and to stay down. They refuse to stay down. So Khamzat can, like, wrestle fuck him as much as he wants and go as hard as he wants in that first round. But after that first round, Islam is going to be there for him. And Islam is not going to gas at all. What do we reckon down in the comments, huh? Khamzat Chimaev went toe-to-toe with Gilbert Burns. So obviously Islam. Khamzat, obviously. Islam all day. Khamzat's overhyped. Khamzat would be too strong for him. This wouldn't even be competitive. Khamzat would smoke him. Islam in the third. Islam is a much better fighter in every way. I do agree. I think Islam Makhachev is better on the feet than Khamzat Chimaev. I do agree with that. Khamzat, way too big for him. Islam knocks this fraud out cold. True. The top 15 pound for pound rankings. Islam Makhachev. Ilya Topuria has jumped right up to number 2, man. Alexander Volkanovski, Tom Aspinall, DDP, Pantoja, O'Malley, Leon Edwards, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Alex Pereira, and Bilal Muhammad. Good question. Why is Charles Oliveira so low in the pound for pound rankings when he has beaten everyone in his division except for the best fighter in the world? Very true. And it seems to be just purely because if you're a champion, you must be highly ranked in the pound for pound. You cannot seem to be highly ranked you cannot be like below, where are we at? 10th. You pretty much can't be below 10th if you're a champion. This list is making my toes curl. Leon always kind of gets disrespected. It's crazy to think he truly is the toughest test for Islam Makhachev. Is he? Is he? Is he? I don't know. Khamzat Chimaev over Merab is hilarious. Yeah, true. That is true. When you look at this list, Khamzat Chimaev number 11 on the pound for pound list, when Merab Dvalishvili isn't even on there. And we know that Merab Dvalishvili can play Khamzat Chimaev's game the exact same way, the exact same way that Chimaev plays his game, except better. Like Merab is just Khamzat, but better with more cardio. So fucking wild. So wild. This list is incredibly irrelevant for listing Dustin Poirier over Gaethje, considering their most recent encounter. That's so true, man. That's so true. It goes number 12, Dustin Poirier, number 13, Justin Gaethje, when we know exactly how that fight goes. They're in the exact same weight class. There is no reason for that to not be flipped the other way around. Sometimes they just come up with the rankings, I swear to God, to make it easier for like general sports fans to consume this sport. Like the rankings give them something to build it around. And Gary wants an I Quit match with Colby Covington. We already looked into that. When shit got real in wrestling. I mean, the only thing real about wrestling is their injuries, isn't it? And the athleticism. Oof, I wonder. I'm probably going to get copyrighted if I show wrestling stuff because it's all very tightly controlled under the distribution. God damn. CGI. Wild. Who wins out of Khabib versus Islam Makhachev? Who wins that fight? I mean, I do believe it's Islam Makhachev, right? Like, Islam is the one that has got all the training and absorbed all that knowledge from the Khabib fight. Islam's got all of that knowledge and all of that training, plus striking. Plus striking. He's got striking as well. So I do think you'd have to give it to Islam Makhachev. Aspinall is huge compared to John Jones. So true, man. Look at the size difference between the two of them. Actually nuts. When you look at the size difference between the two of them. Aspinall is a proper heavyweight, and John Jones is just a lightweight that is put a bit of a gut on, and now cannot be at the gym to keep all of that muscle that he put on. No good. What color canvas do we want for UFC 300? Why does it have to be colored? Like, why does the canvas need to have any fucking colors on it? They've got all these mock-ups here, right? You got the red, green, blue, purple. It's just whatever it is. Here's UFC 200. It doesn't need to have a color. It doesn't need to have a color. This. Let's go to some of the replies. Hang on. Right here. From Dick Niaz. Dick Niaz. Literally, just make it look like the belt. That would be sick. By the way, I know it looks like shit. Imagine if they just do a UFC belt in the middle of the octagon. Unfortunately, we might be getting something like this where it's the old school UFC logo. The very, very first ones that they had right in the middle of it. I think it should just be the regular logo. Just the regular logo, just the regular canvas. Or maybe just take out the big monster in the middle and put the UFC 300 logo dead center, but keep it the same color it always is. But just fill the center square with UFC 300 because it does not need to be any sort of color. The color, it just sort of, it's so immersion breaking to what we're used to as long-term MMA fans. Is this true? This cannot be true. A green screen so we can put future memes on it. All black with only the UFC logo in the middle of it in white with no sponsorship logos. That would be fucking cold as ice. If it was just an all black, although I do think it should be all white because I do like at the end of a fight card as we get to the main event, I do like seeing the UFC canvas covered in blood. I really think that just adds like a certain aesthetic to how hardcore this sport really is. Green one looks dope. Nope. Oh, look at this one. Black and gold with no logos. Oh, shit. That one's nice. That one is nice. Not going to lie. I don't mind that. But again, I want to see the blood, you know? I want to see the blood. Let's see. There we go. Yeah. That looks sick. That looks dope. I do want to see. I like the white, though. Like, I think if we just inverted this color scheme, that's the one I would go with. UFC 1 throwback. Yeah, nice. That way you get some nice, good contract of the blood on it. All right, that's enough of that one. Moving on. Who wants to see Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 3? I feel like we talked about that already today. Nate Diaz calls to free Conor McGregor. I mean, it's just not going to happen, is it? You know, there's just no chance of it happening. Who's next for Tai Tuivasa? Literally anyone, as long as it's the feature fight of a prelim before a UFC pay-per-view. He is purely just there to hype the crowd up. He is just there to build fans. That's all Tai Tuivasa needs to do now. The next fight for Tai Tuivasa should be Tony Ferguson. That way we get to see at least one more win for one of these great guys. Oh my God. Tai Tuivasa versus Tony Ferguson next. Unfortunately, you think he's done. Sad because he was very entertaining, but it doesn't seem like he has it anymore, or he never really did. Anyway, wish him the best. He's a great dude. Honestly, with Tai Tuivasa, it just needs to be like, we're doing the prelims. There's about to be a UFC pay-per-view, like UFC 293, you know. like UFC 293, right? Anderson versus Strickland, Adesanya versus Strickland, right? Look at this card. Look how trash this card is. It needs to be something like this. Come on, where's the poster? Thank you. There's the poster. Boom. Tai Tuivasa goes right there where Allberg versus Young was. Right before the pay-per-view starts, you get everyone in the arena. People have rocked up to the arena. Tai versus Despaigne next. Tony, that is the one, brother. That is the one. New up-and-comer, bit of hype, gatekeeper, Tai Tuivasa. Feature fight of the prelims on a card just like this, or the card that we had this year in Canada. That sort of a card where the whole pay-per-view is just a little bit shit, a little bit lackluster, and you put in Tai Tuivasa right there to get the crowd riled up and to introduce to Spain. Yeah, I like that. Just keep Tai away from the Taco Bell. Fucking hell. He needs to be on watch. It's so funny, Tony. Do you remember this, man, when Tai was on his run? It was either just before Derek Lewis or just after Derek Lewis, and Tai was taking his career super fucking seriously, man. And he would go to Abu Dhabi for training and do proper training camps. He was like locked in and wanted to become a heavyweight world champion. And now he just, like you said, he's eating fucking Taco Bell before the main event. It's such a fall off. It seems like he's not taking it seriously anymore. It's so hard. Charles Oliveira is the underdog going in against Arman Tsarukyan. Yeah, you think Cyril Gane broke him? He trains at public gyms on treadmills and shit? Yeah, man. I hear. It's weird. Like, there's something happens to a fighter when they get so close to the top and then so hurt like that. It sucks because, to me, yeah, he got the piss beaten out of him by Cyril Gane. But there's losing and then there's losing. Like, there's a way that he lost. And to me, the way that he lost that fight was very admirable. Like, again, Cyril Gane, amazing Muay Thai, amazing kickboxing. The body shots sunk Tai Tuivasa. But that first round, Tai Tuivasa had Cyril Gane wobbly. He had him on wobbly legs. It just seems like you were so close to finishing one of the best strikers at heavyweight. You know, it's a game of inches. Don't write yourself off just yet, Tai. You're still loved by the fans. You could still do it. It's sad to see, man. Sad to see. Charles Oliveira is the underdog against Arman Tsarukyan. What I'm surprised about this is how many fucking fans seem to hate Arman Tsarukyan. I did not think he was that hated. Like, when they did the UFC 300 press conference, I was really surprised to see how many people were giving Arman Tsarukyan shit. Really surprised. Just wobbly legs, Gane fell back against the fence. You don't remember that being like a harsh, like all the punches coming from Tai? I've watched that fight a couple of times, man. I might need to watch it again. But I remember Tai doing really well in that first round. Like, it was scary for Cyril Gane. But maybe Cyril Gane wasn't taking Tai Tuivasa seriously because there was such a skill difference. Anybody Oliveira fights gets so much. No, I do. Oh, you're saying Gane was almost knocked out. Yeah. We're on the same page. Anybody Oliveira fights gets so much hate. Anybody Islam fights turns into a fan favorite. It's so true. So true. But I don't know. I didn't like Arman Tsarukyan. He'll stand and bang. Like, yeah, he can wrestle as well, but he'll stand and bang. It just goes to show how loved Oliveira is. Like, even in all the comment sections, There's so many people that always still say, like, the champ has a name. The champ's name is Oliveira. Nobody gave a fuck about Volk until he went to war with Islam. I remember that Volk coming up. He did not have a lot of fan hype at all. Not at all. I think it started to pick up after he beat the living piss out of Ortega. Like, I think he won a lot of respect out of getting out of that guillotine. But yeah, Volk is very similar. Like, it was only once he got into that proper scrap with Islam that he got to that level. You watch Sarukian live in Austin. That guy has an aura. That's why I was so surprised, man. I'm a fan of Sarukian. Like, obviously, we're MMA fans. We have to be massive fans of Oliveira. How can you not be? But I'm a big fan of Sarukian, and I think Sarukian's got a decent chance in this fight. You know, Oliveira gets hit on the chin, and his saving grace is that people are hesitant to enter Oliveira's guard and chase him down to the ground. I don't think Sarukian's going to be hesitant to do that. And I think Sarukian has the ability to stay safe in the guard. You know, arms all in, arms all out. I think it's going to be a challenging fight. I would expect these odds to be a little bit tighter. You're not an Oliveira fan. You blame him for that sketchy elbow cut. Okay. You think he was... I mean, Chael Sonnen, right, talks a whole bunch of wild, random bullshit. But Chael Sonnen did follow that story pretty well for Chael. You know, and he pointed out how Oliveira kept saying over and over again he doesn't want to fight Islam Makhachev in Abu Dhabi. And then, lo and behold, he gets an eye cut and doesn't fight Islam Makhachev in Abu Dhabi. What do you reckon? On purpose or not? Or was it a deliberate to get out of the fight? Was it deliberate to get out of the fight? Or was it one of those things that just happened in training and it was a happy accident for Charles Oliveira? So deliberate or happy accident? Arman's proved himself so much more than BSD. BSD's only ranked win was for Vola. That's true. But BSD did have stuff, and who knows how his gas tank would have gone after that. Yes, and the UFC making him fight another contender for the title tells me they don't have any sympathy at all for him. That is so true. That is so true. We know for a fact that if the UFC likes somebody, like how they like Israel Adesanya or how they like Sean O'Malley, they will insulate them from harsh contenders to help get them to a title. And they are not doing that with Charles Oliveira. Good thing for Charles is, though, I do think that his fan base is loyal enough that they will follow him through a couple of losses. Like, similar to Tony Ferguson's fan base. Like, if he loses to Sarukian at 300, fuck, I'm excited for 300. If he loses to Sarukian for 300, I think that they'll back him and they'll be there for him like Tony's fans with him. Tells you that Dana thinks it was sketchy as well. Yeah. I think a lot of the community backs that. Like, you said you didn't want this fight and you got a Hail Mary cut that doesn't give you this fight. And why? You know, the really fucked up thing about it is he could have come up with any injury to get out of that fight. He could have come up with any injury to get out of that fight. He could have paid some dodgy Brazilian doctor to make up some bullshit. When instead, he got a very deep cut over his eyebrow that is going to cause scarring and scar tissue that is going to open up again during fights. And as we've seen so many times, like just the one that is popping to my head straight away is Nate Diaz versus Masvidal. That fight opening over the eye with blood pouring into it could cause a doctor's stoppage. And if Oliveira does work his way back into a title fight, and it is a scrap, or this fight with Arman Sarukian, which could be a number one contenders fight, you know, like we talk about this all the time, Tony. Like, it's a game of inches. There's so many little things that could happen that could ruin a fight. And for him to put a cut right over his eye that is going to open again because of scar tissue in a fight is really dumb. A really dumb way to get out of a fight. That's just my 2 cents, but I don't know why he fucking picked that injury out of all of them, you know? Could have had a doctor say that he has staph infection. Sports bet. I think Charles will win, but I do not think this fight can be compared to Dustin versus BSD. Armin is more experienced and has less holes to exploit than BSD. So true, so true. They were filming it, adding it to his story before he even tried to get it stitched. But then Dana said they panicked and got it patched up as soon as possible. Yeah, and Dana was also saying if they had just fucking called the UFC has plastic surgeons that can seal it properly, so it has less of a chance of opening up. It's really dumb, but nobody said Brazilians are smart. They only just got computers down there recently. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, man. So true. Like, I find this all the time, like, when we stop and think about these things, like, I call it level one thinking. Like, are we not thinking past the next move even a little bit? Like, you don't have to be some sort of super genius, but, like, you just gave yourself scar tissue injury. What the fuck are you doing? Why the fuck would you do that? So dumb. I'm betting the whole house on Oliveira. Crazy, mate. Crazy. Don't be betting. Don't be betting. It's almost time. Pereira versus Hill. I think Hill's got a real good chance of winning this fight, man. Not going to lie. I think Hill's got a real good chance of winning this fight. I want Alex to win. This is from Wearing Gold Luck. I want Alex to win, but I think Hill might have the style to beat him. Alex is exposed straight down the middle, and Hill has the power to punish him for it. Pereira's leg kicks might be the deciding factor if he can pile them on early. Yeah, I think Yuri Prohaska was actually having some success as well with Pereira until Mike Goddard stopped that fight early. It's 6 o'clock. That's going to do me. I've been streaming for a red hot minute. Tony, brother, thanks for joining me on the stream, man. You have a good night. I know it's late where you are. I'll try and stream again as soon as I can. Thanks for jumping on, dude. I appreciate it. Alex's chin is being cracked by Izzy. Hill can do the same. You're absolutely right, LR007. LR, sorry, brother. I'm wrapping the stream up now, man. If you want to catch these streams, there's a little notification bell down there. Hit that, and you will get notified when I go live. I try and go live for about an hour as often as I can, every day if I can. But if not, it is what it is. Alex's light heavyweight legacy is built on an old man and two guys coming off major injuries if he loses to Hill, plus an early stoppage, Tony. So fucking true, man. So true, dude. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting. Let's talk about it more tomorrow if I can jump on tomorrow or the day after or the day after. No problem, bro. 7 a.m. in the UK. See you next time. You have a good day at work, big fella. You have a good day at work, man. You have a good day at work. We're on opposite time zones, man. Opposite time zones. Tony's legacy is built on an old man, two guys. If he loses to Hill, if he beats Hill. Alex's light heavyweight legacy is built on an old man and two guys coming off major injuries if he beats Hill. If he loses, beats Hill. I don't know what we're talking about, Tony. I'm sorry, man. We'll catch up on that one. If he beats Hill. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You all have yourselves a great night, great day. Thanks for jumping on the stream. I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, it's not the Enigma. I'm probably just cooked, brother. I've been fucking at it all goddamn day. I'm probably just cooked. So, yeah, man. I apologize for not getting that one. But, hey, we'll pick it up on the next one, dude. I know you'll be on the next one. Jump in on the next one and be like, Doug, you fucking moron. This is what I was trying to say. It's not that hard. All right, guys. I'll see you later, man. You all have a good night. Have a good day.